So apparently the live stream I did wasn't enough. I've had a lot of people reach out and ask me, Big Fry, what's your thoughts on 83 being dead? If you guys don't know, 83 is a Cold War gone hot FPS that has been in development for almost a decade. We first covered it on this channel 7 years ago, and the game just recently released into early access. And through that journey, the game actually ended up getting canceled. The original developers were essentially laid off. They left that studio, started their own, acquired the rights to the game, and kept building it. And it just released into early access, and there's only 25 people playing the game right now. If only somebody could have seen this coming. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't a celebratory video. This is simply me pointing out the fact that toxic positivity and sponsored content isn't enough to save games from making fundamental mistakes. And today, I want to talk about where 83 is currently at, what they need to do to be able to fix this situation, and why I think that's not going to happen. The worst part about this situation is I can't even make a joke claiming that the game named itself after the amount of players, because they don't even have 83 people playing the game. The fact is we're sitting at 25 players online right now. It's not enough to even fill an entire server. Even the 24-hour peak, it's a 40v40 game. They couldn't fill an entire server at a 24-hour peak. The game is dead on arrival. Even when you look at the positive reviews on the store page, I mean, this review is based on my first 30-minute match, only as infantry. The things I address are things I experienced. This person, even in a positive review, says this game currently is not worth the price tag, but I do believe it has, yet again, the potential to get there, and I do not intend to refund. It's one of those things where it is currently being propped up by a community that wants the game to be what we all want 83 to be. The truth of the matter is if you buy into the game right now, you're met with a slew of issues, from just an old school retro and not in a good way feeling FPS, a ton of bugs, a ton of server desync, and you can see that in the actual negative reviews, which I gotta say, there are a lot of negative reviews being left because there's literally cannot find any active servers. I think there was one less than half empty server at the time of my playing. So all of the negative reviews that you're seeing recently are because people aren't playing the game. So we have to dive a little bit deeper. Why aren't people playing the game? And guys, if you can believe it, it's really not that hard of a concept. It's because it sucks. This game feels like it was made in 6 months. It is incredibly janky. It is incredibly retro feeling, but not in a good way. You know when games hit that retro aesthetic and that retro feel, and it harkens back and plays on the nostalgia? This game feels worse in every way imaginable compared to its predecessors, Rising Storm and Rising Storm 2. Now, again, I don't want to sit here and compare apples to apples, because I think Rising Storm 2 probably had a way bigger development budget. They didn't have to go through the trials and the tribulations that the developers have gone through to be able to get this game to market. But what I felt when I played this game the other day on stream was that these guys ran out of money. It feels like it launched into early access way too fucking early. And it's one of those, it's yet another tactical shooter that we have to wait years to hope to fuck that the stars align that we actually get a good game out of it. Now, will it happen? I don't know. These guys didn't make a lot of money when they went to early access. So the question is now, are they going to be able to take it to the finish line with the money and the resources that they have? Because as of right now, they are in that tried and true catch-22 where you have a multiplayer only game that people aren't playing because people aren't playing. We see it time and time again. I'm not going to buy this game for $30 because you can't fill a fucking server. Well, you can't fill a server because people are not buying it for $30. Why this game launched at $29.99 is fucking beyond me. It does not deserve that price tag. If this game was $10, $15, I still think that might be too expensive for what you currently get with just how janky, buggy, and desync the servers are. But I think they would still have a bigger chance to actually find success here and actually garner a player base, but they price themselves out of their own fucking market for the quality level that they put out there. Now, what I will say is when you price a game too high in early access or wherever, it does give you great opportunities to put the game on frequent sales to bring people in. That's what we're going to see this game do over the next 2 to 3 years, is every sale imaginable they can get, they're going to put it on sale for a 30% off, a 40% off. And because it's $30, them putting it on a 50% off sale puts it in more places on the store page, gets more eyes on it, and gets people in the door because they think they're getting a deal. I wouldn't pay $15 for the game in its current state. I didn't have an ounce of fun playing it when I played it the other day. I'm not saying you can't have fun with it. There's clearly people that are enjoying it, all 70 of them. But realistically, these guys launched way too early. Even after I made my video 6 months ago telling them they needed to delay it before they go out to early access, or this exact fucking situation was gonna happen, they delayed it, yes, but they barely fucking delayed it. They put like a 3-month delay on it and put it out thinking that was gonna be enough time. Guys, 6 months ago, your game was absolutely scuffed. It was fucked. And now you're here 6 months later, the game is still scuffed. It might not be as fucked, but it's not really that much better. And now we're here. Now we have another game that had, again, I hate using the word potential, but a lot of these games have a lot of potential, but every single fucking time, the same shit happens. Developers release games too early, they run out of money, and now we're left with a game that we hope to we can fill a server for the next 6 fucking years. Now, as we know, these guys also put an early access roadmap out. If I've learned my lesson about covering early access or games in development, or basically any multiplayer title ever, it's that the roadmaps are complete bullshit, because if you don't make enough money to actually support the long-term goals and vision, you're fucked, right? So apparently updates 1, 2, and 3 are bringing 3 new maps, each with multiple scenarios, commander abilities, new factions, and a new vehicle class. If I can be honest with you guys, I don't give a shit about new content at this point. The content you guys have now isn't good. The game you have now isn't good. Adding more maps on top of a bullshit foundation isn't going to do anything for me. Gameplay features, they're getting expanded battle chatter, stats, progression, and achievements, cosmetic customization, tutorials, and localization. Community requests, dive to prone, improved bipod function, improved server admins. I'll be honest with you guys, there is not one thing on this roadmap that interests me, because the actual core foundation of the game itself is beyond fucked. Why do I care about any of this stuff, right? When we're talking about games like Battlefield, and again, I don't want to make the comparison, Battlefield's obviously AAA, but in the scheme of, we're talking about Battlefield had a decent foundation, so when they're adding content, they're adding fixes, they're doing, it's a wide spectrum of stuff that we're all interested in, because there's a foundation there that we actually enjoy. Now, they do say here bug fixes and quality of life updates are coming approximately every 2 weeks, which means by my calculation, we should be seeing a bug fix patch probably dropping this week. Is it going to be a big one? Who knows? These guys have to start focusing on bug fixes. Essentially, these guys have to fix the fucking game. That's just really what it comes down to. You have mixed reviews, which I'll be honest, a lot of games now are launching mixed. This doesn't tell the entire story. When you actually go into the reviews, you can see that there is a lot of cope coming from the positive crowd. And granted, like this guy, for early access, it's quite decent, although there's much to work on. He put 34 hours into the game. Impressive stuff. That is an actual review I can respect from somebody who is positive. I'm not even going to call that cope. He says gameplay is similar to Red Orchestra, Rising Storm series. Performance-wise is okay. I don't know about that. That being said, there's occasionally lag spikes. Player base is tiny at the moment, and hopefully the devs don't abandon it and continue to work on it. I actually like that review. So this is actually interesting. Even though for us it's been 6 to 7 years, Blue Dot Games actually chimed in on this thread, and they said, like, once they reacquired the rights to 83, it's not like they got all of the code base and everything else. They had to restart from scratch. We've only had our full team working on it for just over a year. Prior to that, we only had a small group working on it for a few months, so quite a bit less than that, to be fair. Now it's time for me to be a little bit savage here. You've only been working on the game full time for over a year, for just over a year, and you went to early access for $30? Go fuck yourselves. You've only been working on the game full time for just over a year. You went to early access for $30. You released the beta test that I played, what was that, 6 months ago now? which means at the time of that, I was playing a 6-month development build. And I said it played like shit. And I said it didn't feel like they'd been working on it for 7 years. This isn't a 7-year develop. And now we find out that when they bought the rights back, they had to start from scratch. Guys, it is not on the community to fund your development. I'm sorry to say, going to early access, and guys, I think I called it to a fucking T. I said that it feels like these guys ran out of money. And that tells me that if you went to early access, charged $30 for it after just over a year in development, you were struggling to get the funding. It's not on the community to fund the development. I'm sorry to say, I don't buy into the idea that you need to go to early access because you need funding to continue development. That's not what early access should be used for. And this is another tried and true fucking moment for me. I got called negative. I got called a doomer because I fucking shit on this game 6 months ago because it felt like the game was in development for 6 months, because it fucking was. For a year in development, it's actually some impressive shit here. Unfortunately, I feel like you just squandered the opportunity to make an impact with this game. And I guess it's one of those things like, should we support them because they need the funding? They need to be able to develop the game further. I don't buy into that notion. I understand why some developers feel like they need to go to early access, because if they don't, they're going to run out of money and the game doesn't exist. I don't know, like maybe that's just the fucking way the cookie crumbles, you know? Now we're just in a situation where we have another tactical FPS that went to Steam way too fucking early. And, you know, now we have to sit here for years on end and hope to fuck the developers can make something happen. If you guys are waiting around and hoping that it gets better, I'm happy for you. Of course, if the game gets better, that's fucking awesome. I'm sick. I'm fucking burnt out of it. I'm burnt out of yet. I'm burnt out of watching FPS games go to early access and just sit there for years on end. And so in terms of checking up and updating you guys on the situation regarding 83 every 4 months when a new patch comes out, I'm going to wait till 1.0 and we'll fucking see if they get there. Leave a like on the video and subscribe for other FPS content. As always, my name is Big Fry, and I'll fucking see you on the next one.